you guys feel like very at home here, especially you, Tesoro. You're laying down on the ground, and you notice that like part of your cloak has started rooting itself into the ground.
Oh, jeez.
So you can kind of extricate yourself from there if you want. You can pull. They're just little like shoots right now. But we'll say, how about this? We'll say that the portal opens up here. So when the portal opens up, the white tree comes through and basically immediately like finds a spot that in your mind, if you had dreamed dreams of Azelohar and Valinor, you find like something in the back of your mind that feels right about this scene that maybe you've seen but not remembered. All of you, and Tesoro, you start to feel like, oh God, I'm like starting to get rooted here. But you feel like you can kind of like pull it out for now.
Okay, yeah, I do that.
Okay. So are you guys going to head back to Ilmarin? Are you going to try to remove yourself from the cloak here? Like, what's the plan?
I'm at 11 health.
We gotta somehow heal him, and then.
Yeah, did we think maybe the water might help?
Yeah, you could try that.
Might root you.
Did we need to do something to the water to make it?
No, it was basically as the blood was getting farther away from Ungoliant, it was basically turning clear and becoming the water from the well of Varda, or maybe like the well was like purifying it or something.
We opted to kill Ungoliant instead of trying to split Max apart first, because there was something about doing that would benefit Max trying to split later. I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah, so you guys were trying to create the cordial called Miruvórë. Right. But the thing that we talked about was that, you know, the order of events was basically having the trees rooted, bringing the water back, having the flowers blossom, and then make this cordial out of the flowers. However, really, you know, at this point you only have one tree that's rooted. You have the second of the two trees that is present but not rooted. So you're hoping that the flowers will still grow back. So you're not sure if you can even create Miruvórë, or if you do create Miruvórë, because Tesoro is not rooted, what kind of properties it's going to have.
Yeah, well, I would assume since the only thing that we'd be missing would be something from the tree that I would turn into, I would assume that would probably already be inside of me, right?
It's the yeah. So
whatever ingredient we needed from my tree is probably already inside me.
So it's the light of the trees that help the flowers grow, and you are emanating light, but you basically haven't turned into Laurelin, right? You're not Laurelin yet. You're becoming Laurelin. And you won't fully, your cloak, I should say, won't fully become the descendant Laurelin until it's rooted. You're not really sure what's going to happen if you try to create this cordial, or if you ask the gods to create the cordial, because there's only one tree, and the Silmarils still aren't here, and you know that was part of, to rekindle the trees, that you needed the Silmarils too.
Where are the Silmarils?
There's not really anyone here to ask questions of. So the longer you're staying here, you're starting to get rooted.
Yeah, I guess let's try and go through the portal. Or could we get what we need to see if the gods can make whatever it is?
Yeah. So let's just head back here, and then the story will play out here. So you guys come back here, and you see Varda has sort of become like she's moving around now, and she's kind of been free from her torpor since you've done her trial, and she would just be, she and both Yavanna and Varda, who are both kind of nature goddesses. They're both like, you know, coming up and grabbing your hands and thanking you. And you see Ingwë, who's here, and he actually has the Silmarils on him. He went back to get them, and he says it's time to rekindle the trees. The well of Varda has been replenished, and both trees are within reach. And the hour couldn't be more late. So we have to get that cloak off of you. We understand that you want to make the Miruvórë. So Yavanna and Varda would come up and say, we think the flowers will respond very quickly once we get the cloak off of you, and we'll be able to make the Miruvórë. Or we could try to basically rekindle Telperion, the white tree, and if the flowers come back to life a little bit, without the golden tree, without the magic of the golden tree being both rooted and rekindled by the Silmarils, we could try to make Miruvórë basically with just from the light of Telperion, and the flowers basking in the light of Telperion. So they're basically saying, we could do it one of two ways. We could sort of keep the cloak on you until we make the cordial, but they're not sure if the cordial will have all the same properties. Or we could try to take the cloak off of you, root it, have the flowers grow, and then make the Miruvórë sort of the way they're used to making it.
What if the cloak stays on him? He wouldn't be able to leave the...
So he would have to stay. It's like his cloak says. He basically would become almost like a male dryad of the tree.
So he wouldn't be able to there's nothing they could do to get him to
Not at that.
Be able to, yeah.
Not at that point.
So how far can I go from the tree though if I'm tree bound?
It's all in your cloak. All of that stuff is in your cloak description. I don't remember. I think it's not far though.
What are the properties of the thing normally?
The Miruvórë?
Yeah.
All right. So they will tell you.
Oh, interesting. As long as the character wears the cloak, mortal sickness and death are postponed.
So they tell you, I'm not going to read this ability, though. They would describe it to you. So they would say, Miruvórë has very strong healing properties. As well, it has been known to open the eyes of the dead. It has been used in the Elder Days to reattach limbs and to cure sickness.
Healing properties, open the eyes of the dead, restore limbs.
So what's it going to be? Which way are you gonna try to keep it on another? Are you just gonna keep it on and just keep on carrying on, or are you gonna try to get it off of you now? Or are you gonna ask them to make the Miruvórë before you try to take it off of you, or after?
If they did make it now, and the cloak was taken off, would I drink it and then try and take the cloak off, or would I just take the cloak off and then drink it? I guess that means if it could open the eyes of the dead, then it could possibly bring me back to life if taking the cloak off kills me, right?
Right. So you would drink it sort of after the ailment.
Okay. But also it wouldn't be we wouldn't know if it would have that quality or not.
Correct.
Also, I'm trying to understand the cloak thing, because the tree-bound part says the character can emerge from the tree and travel the lands around it, but the tree remains his home and roots him to the world. That's pretty much all it says. So the lands around it. So I guess it's up to your interpretation.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to go very far. You wouldn't be able to do the other trials, for example.
Okay. So it's not an option.
What do you think? Should we try and take it off now with the...
What would be great is if you actually take it off and turn into a werewolf immediately. So at this point, during the last day, it was going to do something like 35 d10 damage. Now Now it's going to do 45 d10 damage.
Oh, should I get rid of a dexterity point?
Yeah, I probably should. It's morning now. And add your 10 hit points. But let's make this decision before we go. Also want to have another, if you have a few more minutes, I wanted to decide sort of where you're going to go.
So how long would it take them to make whatever they have to make?
They say that now that Telperion has rooted itself, the flowers are already starting to come back. That they're growing at sort of unnatural speeds. So they could probably another day, maybe.
Okay.
Well, these are the goddesses of nature, so they're they know how to make this stuff. So it won't take them long.
If it's gonna take a day though, then we can't even do it now anyway, right?
Yeah, we could. We just say that the game progresses another day, and you're gonna have to rest anyway.
Okay, yeah.
We're kind of like torn up.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Is there even we have 2 trials left, right?
Yeah.
So the problem is that
the damage gets worse and worse. So at some point.
But am I even going to have to take it off? Like, what if we finish the trials and then I can just go and be a tree?
Yeah, that's true. They do want to restore the trees as soon as possible, though. Every time you go out, you risk dying, right? And also, like, it's the light of the trees that are going to free the elves. And you guys have kind of selfish reasons for obviously wanting to do that. But they're basically, once and I think we've talked about this a couple times, but once the trees are rekindled, the Halls of Mandos will open and all of the elves will be released.
How did the elves get in there again?
They're bound. The elves are bound to the world, and the Iluvatar's gift to humans were that they weren't bound to Arda, and that death brought about some sort of mysterious, like no one really knows what happens to them, right? But the elves are bound to Arda till the end of days. So when they die, their souls or whatever go to the Halls of Mandos until the last battle. And in my interpretation of this is basically right now, when the 2 trees have been found and the Silmarils have been found and have been used to rekindle the trees and the wells of Varda have returned, that's when the elves will be. This is the end of days, right? The battle is days away.
Rest and wait a day and then take the thing off.
Take it off? All right. So you guys have all taken a long rest. It's 8 hours later. It's not a new day. So it's still the 45 d10 damage. Everybody's at full health. And so do you want me to roll it, Max, or do you want to do it? So basically what you're doing is you're having them, while you're resting, they're making the Miruvórë from the light of Telperion, right?
Yeah.
So they've rekindled, they've taken the Silmarils to Izelohar, and now the land is sort of like this bright white light from the tree it's so powerful that there's actually like earthquakes and like avalanches from the Pelori Mountains, and so when that happens, the flowers have started blooming, and the buds have turned into flowers, and they started making the Miruvórë. And when you're done with your rest, you're presented with they say we have the Miruvórë. We're not exactly sure what it's going to do without the light of Laurelin, but they're going to do the best they can to get this cloak off of you without doing, without killing you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it then.
All right.
So I'm back at 125.
All right.
Do you think I could turn into my tree form or no? That doesn't make sense.
It would. You could try. It might actually. They say that it might actually do more damage to you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. So who? What is it? 45d what?
45d10.
Okay.
And so you have 125 hit points. So if you roll 250, you've died.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
45 d10.
Oh.
Wow, you are really lucky. Try it again. See what you get. Just for giggles.
It's 5.5 times 45, right?
I'm at negative 99 health.
Expected value is on average you pass. It's 247.5 damage on average.
Lucky.
Wow.
All right.
But half the time
It was still pretty much a 50-50, right?
yeah.
Half the time it works, all the time.
Yeah.
All right, so he's unconscious by the time they wrench this cloak off of him.
Who's doing it? Wait, just
So Yavanna and Varda are both doing it, and you guys, as they pull it off of him, you see you see his body start to writhe as he's unconscious, and you see his veins start turning black, and he's starting to get a little more hairy. So I'm guessing you guys want to give him the Miruvórë, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So instantly, from where the liquid goes in his throat, it spreads out over his body. The black veins sort of purify like they did in the well, and he opens his eyes and he's like, Tesoro, you feel as good as you've felt probably since you put on the cloak. So I will tell you that it was not, if it killed you, it was not going to bring you back to life because it was missing the light of Laurelin.
Oh, jeez.
But I was hoping you guys would remember that you have the Durin stone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I wasn't.
Or we can just wait for them to.
What does the
make
Durin
a
stone do?
miracle.
It can bring someone back to life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. So you guys, you're part of this.
Wait, do I heal back to 125?
Yep. No, you're full health. Miruvórë takes care of that. And so they
happen?
Yeah.
That's my health.
No. So your dexterity. That's the other part I haven't told you. So you said you've been keeping track of how much you've lost.
Yeah.
So your dexterity goes back to full.
Oh.
He's put more points into it than are physically possible for a human being.
Yeah, I wrote something about this. Hold on. You don't go back to what it would be. I wrote it down somewhere and I can't.
It would be 22.
Yeah, I wrote it down somewhere and I can't find it. So give me until the beginning of the next session to tell you what happens to your dexterity. But
Probably 20. Yeah.
it goes back up. So you guys are a part of this whole process, and I'll describe it in more detail. I think I haven't done it justice. Sort of what happens at Azeluhar with the two trees and the light. But the world continues to rumble, and you hear the gates of the Halls of Mandos from across Valinor open, and there is a multitude of voices across the land, and the light of the two trees are shaking the actual rocks and stones of the Pelori Mountains, and the light between the pass of light where you guys battled Glauron, basically Azeluhar. Well, let's look at it. So you guys are on Taniquetal, which is the mountain there next to the sea. And do you see where it says the Calakiria? It's on the right side of the map where it says the Pelori and it says Taniquetal. And above that, the Calakiria. That's the pass of light. And Azeluhar is right to the left of that. And basically, the pass of light was created so that the light from the two trees could shine onto Erisea and the rest of the land. And that's actually what's happening now. The light of the two trees are going out all over Arda. A few other things happen. And we'll pick up where we left off next week here. But I wanted to... A portal opens up again. And two people come through. And they're super huge right now, but let me shrink them down. So you
Wow.
You
It looks like two master smiths.
and there's reasons that both of them are here. Fëanor came to collect his Silmarils because they belonged to him. He made them. And Celebrimbor came to see his brother.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
And that's where we'll leave it off.
You look great.
Hold on, so with the cloak, they planted it and turned it into the tree?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, okay. So I don't even have to try and put it back on then.
Nope. I'll read to you. Like I want to write something up for this because I think the rekindling of the two trees of Valinor probably warrant a little prose.
Huh.
But I'll it's late, and I'll read it to you next week.